All right, then, let's go to, this is my favorite book here lately, Genesis. Genesis 18. And this is the Lord talking about Abraham. And Abraham goes, let's start at verse 18. Abraham will surely become a great and powerful nation, and all the nations on earth will be blessed through him. Verse 19, for I have chosen him so that he will direct his children and his household after him to keep the way of the Lord by doing what is right and just. So I like that verse. The Lord says, for I have chosen him, he's chosen us so that we will direct our families, our children, to keep the way of the Lord. So he didn't just, a lot of people look at, why did he choose Abraham by himself? Well, he chose Abraham because Jesus came through his lineage. But I looked at it, kind of personalize it, God has chosen me, chosen you, and most of everyone here looks like most of us have families and children. Some are going to have families and children. And so God has chosen you so that you can direct your household. It doesn't happen a lot, seems like, in these days and times. That men are directing your household. I know, possibly you're having 5% with your kids, and Lauren's not here right now, but Rudy, he said is since he became a believer, how much of an impact that's had on his family, his grandchildren. And so I like to think I'm doing the same thing, but God has chosen us to do those things. So kind of like, if you're not doing those, are you really chosen? I don't know. But I can just see from this group we have here in our meetings on Tuesdays and Saturdays that there's some chosen men here, and that they are leading your families and directing your children. I mean, Rudy's having an impact on his grandchildren. So will you, possibly, your children's children, you're going to have an impact on them. You find Brett, you find him a wife, he's going to have an impact on his kids. I know thing, he's adopted children, so I know he's having an impact on those people. So, yeah, I kind of like that one. Oh, yeah.
Going back to Genesis 18 and 19, it says that Abraham, God chose him to direct his children and his household. And we know that Abraham did a heck of a job because his son is Isaac, right? And his son Isaac knew about sacrifices. Remember, Abraham was going to sacrifice his son. His son's like, where's the lamb? So his son already knew about sacrifices. It must have been something that his son grew up watching. So the question is, what are our children growing up watching us do?
Exactly.
Do they see us pray? Well, then they should pray. Do they see us read the Bible? Then they will read the Bible. Do they see us preach? Then they will preach. I think it was a couple of weeks ago, we saw Rudy, I think it was on a Saturday. You were headed to your mother's house to go deliver some goods on a U-Haul, and you had your grandchild there listening to our Saturday message. And I thought that was so cool because I thought, there's a grandchild listening to his grandfather speak the word of truth. He's not listening to his grandpa cuss. He's not listening to his grandpa talk about women. He's listening to his grandpa talk about the things of the Lord. And that's what this says here. God chose him and God chose us. If we have children, God chose you to be a dad. If you got married, he chose you to be a father. All of a sudden we get married and we have children, and all of a sudden we want, my call is to be a missionary. Well, you better take your wife and your children with you.
And Abraham, and the story actually goes on later in another chapter where Abraham chooses a wife for Isaac.
Right.
He sent his servant out to go find a wife for him. They didn't want him marrying these other kind of women, the Canaanite women.
Right.
And so he's continuing to doing what's right and just keeping the way of the Lord. He wants to continue. He wants him marrying some woman that's going to influence him to do other things. He wants him to marry a godly woman.
To piggyback on what Brett was talking about, statistics. I love statistics. You see, we're in sales, so we're always looking at numbers. And here's a great stat for you guys. When a mother comes to the Lord, only 17% of the family will follow. When a father comes to the Lord, 95% of the family will follow.
How many?
95%.
Amen. Woo.
Hallelujah.
Amen.
That's why it's so important for us to be examples to the family, to lead them to the promised land. Yeah.
Yes, that's true. God chose Abraham the same way God chose us. You will see Matthew chapter 25, verse 34. The Lord designed the kingdom before the foundation of the world. Again, Luke chapter 12, verse 32, we see the Father had chosen you to give the kingdom. God had chosen us to give his kingdom. And then John chapter 15, verse 16, you will see he chose us so that to bear the fruit. God chose Abraham, the same God chose us in him to bear the fruit, according to John chapter 15, verse 16.